I put down Casey knows because I didn't have our number when I was doing the assembly things, but Casey knew what our number was. And then it'll pop up like this and you'll just submit it. And if you're forgetting something, generally Campus Life, Casey, Ruth, someone will get in contact with you to let you know you might have been missing something and they want you to change it, or they'll probably change it for you. It's generally a lot easier. They did that for me when I messed up Kellis. I say it weird, but anyways. And then they also include COVID things on there like that. Put on your mask, please have your event pass ready, that sort of stuff. So I'm going to click cancel. Does anybody have any questions about Get Involved before I can move on to a different subject? Okay. So I'm going to jump to EMS. It's going to log me out. You'll just sign in with your normal school login. And then when you get on here, you don't really use anything else other than this first one. Maybe you'll use this third one, but the rest are for faculty and staff or an off-campus organization. We're all on-campus activities. So generally, you'll probably be picking this one unless you want something in Crane. I don't know a scenario where you might want something in Crane, but maybe you do. Maybe you have a club like Crane. What's it called? Opera Club, and you guys want to do a singing event. Maybe you'll want Crane because better acoustics. But you'll click on Book Now. It'll pull up the options. You'll put in your time. It has to be a day in advance. So if you were hoping to get something the next day or that day, it's very unlikely you're going to get it. If you do have a scenario like that, you should go to the Campus Life office and speak to either Lynn or Ruth or Casey. I know that's a lot of names, but they'll help you out. I met with Lynn one day when I needed a room ASAP, and they ended up helping me out get a room the next day. It's not so much that you'll have as many options as you would when you do a reservation. You might just get what you get, but if you need something in an emergency situation, they'll be able to help you. So you put your date down, put down your time, and then you'll click search. And you'll also put in recurrence if you want to do that. So say you're having an event that repeats multiple times, like I put in for PR committee and financial review board. You'll pick how many times it repeats. I put in weekly, once a week, what's today, Thursday. So once a week on Thursdays. And then you'll pick your end date. So I would say just go to the end of, I'll put December 15th because I don't really remember off the top of my head when the school year ends. So that means it shows that you'll have 9 occurrences between 9 and 10 a.m. and you'll click apply and then you'll click search. This will then show you which rooms would be available for all of your different occurrences. So for example, the second floor conference room in Raymond Hall is available all 9 times for me. The farther you scroll down, the less available it will become. Apparently, just like last time, I got real lucky and I've had a lot of good occurrences, but eventually you'll reach like 8 out of 9, 6 out of 9. So as you scroll down, it becomes less and less available. You'll pick a room that you want. So we'll just say Flag Hall 142. And then it asks for the number of attendees you're going to have. If you don't know the specific number, just put like an estimate down. So say like 20. And then academic setting or COVID-19 social distancing. I think the only reason you put down academic is if you're doing an event, and I know they restrict after a certain point. If you do COVID-19, if you do like 50 people, it has to be 21. Only 21 people could be in here for COVID-19. I was told we're not doing the social distancing right now because everyone's vaccinated and wearing a mask. So academic might be your best choice. We'll click add room just under that situation. And then it will load as it always does. And you'll go to services as long as that's the room you want. And this room doesn't have any specific services, but sometimes they do. Like they'll offer maybe an easel or they'll offer a projector screen. Like if you chose this one, they would offer the services of probably, let's say, they have a smart board or a projector set up to the computer so you don't have to worry about that. And then you move on to reservation details. You put in the name, you put in the event type. I'll put in conference. And then the middle message. I've never put anything here. I don't really know why there's a message box. It doesn't it just emails you. And then you can tell people that you're holding the event there. So definitely select the time as busy, because if you set it as free, it'll show up that to other people that they can reserve that time. Did you have a question?
Sorry, just
No, that's okay, no problem. And then you'll scroll down, pick your group, and then you'll put down your phone number and your email address. I'm not going to click on either of these because it will show my private data, and you'll have to put that down. That way they can contact you if there's any issues, or say they have someone who needs the room and they're asking you if you could possibly clear out of the room for that day. I've never had that happen to me, but it's a possibility. Do you plan on having food? If you click yes, they ask you if you've contacted Pacey's. I'll go over the food plan on campus right now for events. So as far as food goes on campus, you're allowed to have food at your events, but you can only have it in one of two scenarios. And the first one being you have to go through Pacey's. And this is if you're doing any like banquets, or if you're doing an event where you wanted to say, I used this last time, say you wanted to serve spaghetti. People can't come up and dish it up themselves. You have to have a Pacey's person there to dish it out to people, and they have to make it for you. You can have a lot of foods. I don't know if they have restrictions on foods. You'd have to contact them about that. And from there, if you're doing food that's packaged and like individually packaged, so you know the little bags of chips you can buy, like the multi-packs for Doritos and whatnot, you can buy those and set them out for people to grab one and then walk away with it. Yeah, question. Did you have a question? No? Aaliyah, right?
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So, yeah, that's the only way you can go to like Walmart and buy it yourself. So that's what you do there. For this, you can just put down if you need anything special. I know for room 203 when I was doing the events in there, I never got to, but I put down like I need to access to the TV screen in there so that way I can show what I'm doing. And then it'll ask you if you post it on Get Involved. This is where it gets annoying because if you click no, it tells you to post your event. It doesn't stop you from continuing on. It's just confusing. So then you'll click create reservation. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to confuse them. So that's it for EMS. Question? Yes.
I noticed that you had a recurring time for like booking the space. How do you do that again?
Yeah, I can show you. So you'll go to here. I'm going to remove it so I can show it again. Okay, maybe not. So you go to book now, and then it'll say recurrence, and you'll click on there, and then you can decide whether it's going to be daily, weekly, monthly. I, for example, just clicked weekly. You can do every 1 week, every 2 weeks, so it's bi-weekly, and then you'll pick your day. So I did Thursday, and then you'll click your start date and your end date, and it will tell you how many times it occurs. And if you use this method, then the options shown will tell you if it works, if the room will work for all those occurrences or not. Any further questions about EMS before I move on? Okay, we're going to move into budget proposal. This only happens in the spring, but this does happen every year. This is your chance to get budgeting for your club if you don't already have a budget, and this is also your chance to possibly increase your budget for your club if you need more funding. I would not pay attention to this date. I think it's flexible. If we want to do it earlier or later, we can. I mean, it might be a good time to do it in February, but this will stay for every day you're late with your budget proposal. It's a 2% cut. And then we'll scroll down. This is what I used when I put in my purchase request before I became SGA treasurer. You'll put down your name here, and then you'll put down proposed budget for 2021 to 2022. This is for your whole year, and you'll put down your name. And this is where you give a brief background about your club. So, for example, SGA is a club, not a club, but an organization on campus that has been around for a long time. We help students with making sure they follow the Constitution and the FPP. We're here to help people, yada, yada, yada. Just put down basic information, you know. And then this is where you'll put down your different lines, and you can also put down specific events. I don't want to use any specific examples without the club's permission, so I'm not going to say that. But if you scroll down, I am going to send out this budget proposal, by the way, to you guys, so you'll have access to it. That way you can see this, but each line is described on this. So administrations for office supplies, say you needed a new mouse, a new monitor, a phone, something like that. That's where you would put down your estimate for how much you'll need for administration. Publicity, this is for banners and flyers. So if you guys are advertising for an event of yours, this is where publicity would come in. Programs, this is for your actual events on campus. So competitions, that sort of thing, for campus events only. This is where you would ask for that amount of money. SGA travel, I know this only, I'm not entirely sure which people this gets attached to. I do know sports has SGA travel, and I think academic clubs have SGA travel, but it's different for each one. That's outlined in the FPP. I highly recommend you guys read the FPP because there's things I'm not going over today that, you know, are super important to know. I am going to go over, we discussed it in assembly today, the punishment for missing assembly meetings and committees, but that's a little bit later. Mixers is automatically 150 for your club. You don't really have a choice in the matter, unfortunately, just because mixers are supposed to be held within like the first 20 weeks of a semester. Yes?
Even for budget, program funded?
I think program funded clubs also get $150 for mixers, even though they're not budgeted.
Thank you.
Yeah. Something else I wanted to mention that's not on the budget request. For program funded clubs, when you put in a request, if it's your first time getting a budget, the maximum you can ask for is $1,000. So automatically that's, I think, 850 because of the mixers line. That's all you can ask for your first time. Come the next year, you can ask for more, depending on if you guys can prove you need it. When the budget happening, or what? That was weird. When budgets happen, there will be a budget committee, which will be made up of, I think, 7 members of assembly who go over the budgets, and they have access to a detailed history of the club's spending of each line. That way, they can decide whether or not the club actually needs those funds. It's basically just like receipts about what you guys have purchased. And that's up to budget committee to decide. And then after budget committee, it will be brought to assembly to confirm.